Hi, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. For today's episode, I want to ask you the question of, do you actually want them, or do you just want to use them to forget yourself? And I think this is an important question for anybody who's in the dating scene right now, who is meeting new people and finding connection with people and starting to chase somebody or feeling like you want to pursue something with someone who maybe isn't aligned with you in certain ways, right? You can kind of sense that they're not totally aligned with your values, maybe your morals even in certain ways, your beliefs, and yet you're still drawn to them. And you find that when you're with them, you feel lighter, you feel less stressed, which aren't bad things. It's good to feel that way with someone that you're dating, of course. But if all the other aspects, all the foundational parts of this aren't there, and you're just feeling lighter, less stressed, like you're letting go of something, I want you to question if maybe this feeling is you wanting to forget yourself. And what I mean by forget yourself is having the opportunity to forget your life, to forget all your struggles and your problems and the fact that you have to exist in this world, and it's hard to do that, and there are many things you have to consider, and it's very anxiety inducing at times. And it was fun when you were a kid maybe and you used to do activities and play, and you would get lost in those moments and you would be in flow state. Maybe you're wanting this person to replicate that feeling for you. You're wanting them to be that flow state that you can get into so that you can forget yourself, that you can forget you exist for a little bit. Again, I won't say that this is a bad thing. You should be able to feel this way with your partner, your healthy partner at times, but not all the time, right? Because all relationships still require effort and time and energy, and they're not always easy. Sometimes there is some difficulty to it, not in a foundational way where things are so incompatible that you're always struggling, but in the sense that you're going to have to show up for somebody and you're going to have to be responsible at times for them. And that's part of relationships, and that's what makes them good. But if you're finding yourself always wanting to forget yourself in these relationships, I think that's a completely different story, because it's not really about the other person, and it's not about cultivating something that is healthy and sustainable. It's about you wanting to feel better in the same way you would want to feel better using anything, any sort of substance to let you escape from the reality of life. Sometimes we use people that way, not consciously, not maliciously. I'm not saying that either. It's not like you're actively trying to hurt them in a narcissistic way. But sometimes we tend to find relationships of people who are able to, mimic that feeling for us of being lost in something. And I find that from my own experience and the things I've heard from friends and others that I speak to when I have my one-to-one calls, the people that are the easiest to do this with are people who you don't have a lot of connection with. There is a bit of distance in how you see the world, because otherwise then it would mean that you're more able to get into an actual healthy, aligned relationship, which is not what's going to make you feel like you're able to escape yourself, right? That would just pull you more into the reality of a relationship, which also has its struggles. And, reality isn't shiny and an escape, right? It is real, and real is sometimes gritty, but that's also good sometimes, right? So I think the people that tend to create this environment for forgetting yourself are people who you aren't aligned with in many ways, right? You have enough differences to feel like, okay, we can't actually date. You might not consciously be aware of this, but those who are avoidants understand this feeling, right? It's like, I can't actually date this person, so I can't get too close. There is a barrier there, which is good, because it's not about actually being intimate and vulnerable with them. It's about losing yourself. So it's someone who you can't actually get into a relationship with, but you connect enough where there's something about them that allows you to feel able to escape. So like, as an example, somebody who is very funny or very energetic, who is very adventurous, who will take you here and let's go here, let's go do this, or is able to entertain you, right? They're so funny, they're so entertaining that when you're with them, you forget yourself. You lose yourself in their presence because their presence is maybe a bit overwhelming. So it subsumes you. Those are people that you can really do this with. So I think it's important to recognize that, because it can be easy to believe that this person, oh, okay, yes, I feel this way. I feel really good around them. Not because of how they're showing up for me, not because of our aligned values, not because we're looking for the same things, we're facing the same direction in this relationship, but because I get to escape, because I get to lose myself in this moment. I get to forget myself. And that might be exactly what you need if you're struggling to find some semblance of balance in your life, or to feel like there are other ways to do this in a healthier way, a way that doesn't require escape, but maybe more acceptance. And acceptance is hard, obviously, right? So instead you're finding it in this person through forgetting yourself, through escaping. It's important to be mindful of this because it feels good. So you'll be wanting to stay in this dynamic, right? You'll be wanting to stay in this relationship, but maybe they're not actually aligned with you. And they're just going to lead you down a path where you lose sight of your actual values, of what you actually want in a relationship. You start believing that this is all you can have, right? It feels good because you're forgetting yourself. You kind of have a bit of an escape. But as you're escaping and you're forgetting yourself, you're losing sight of your life. And your life requires you to be focused and available and open and responsible. I get it. It's hard. Being an adult, being in life, in the real world, it never ends. It's unrelenting. Yeah, it's so anxiety inducing. There's no denying that. I struggle with this all the time. As somebody who has like a very low energy, it's hard to maintain the energy I need to exist as a person and function and do all the things we need to do, of course. And so that's led me in my life to try to escape. And I easily escape through people, right? Especially as somebody, I'm a people pleaser, I'm a fixer, I have the wounded bird syndrome. It's so easy to be like, okay, I'm going to take someone on as a project. I'm going to fix them. But you can do it in other ways too, right? You find somebody who maybe that's someone who really needs fixing. So you use them as a way to forget yourself. Okay, I'm going to pour myself into this person and I'm going to fix them. I'm going to make them the perfect partner or the perfect this, but you don't really want that. Because it's not about actually having the perfect partner. If this is the mindset you're in, that you're approaching relationships with, it's not about actually having the perfect partner. It's about the project. It's about the flow state. It's about losing yourself in it. This is why, someone who is falling into dynamics like this over and over again might just need a creative practice. That might be what you're looking for. I'm not using this. I'm not trying to prescribe this to anybody. I'm just saying that I don't think it's a coincidence that those who let go of a creative practice tend to find themselves in relationships like this. I've heard this before. It's happened to me because it creates that same feeling of being able to escape, to lose yourself, right? As a writer, writing fiction, you get to lose yourself in a story that isn't reality. You get to put yourself in a different person's head, a different environment. Or if you're a painter, I like to paint too. That's really fun. That creates flow state. It allows you to let go of the world around you and lose yourself for a short amount of time. Playing music, even listening to music, right? Like just consuming art, creating art, it does that for us. And as humans, that's kind of what we are designed to do in a sense, right? I think there's a reason why we've been creating art since the beginning of time, essentially. But I think if you don't have a creative practice and you do want to escape yourself and you're not doing it in other ways or finding ways to create that balance, that flow state, whether it's through creative practice or anything really, there's so many ways to do this. You might find yourself doing it with relationships. And that can be very messy because you're not approaching these relationships in good faith. You're not doing it because you actually want to be there. Again, this isn't conscious necessarily, so I'm not trying to shame anyone or blame them or whatever. It's more just to have the awareness, right? So you're not approaching them because you actually want to be in a healthy relationship, one with intention, one with responsibility. You want to forget yourself. So this person is great. They're funny, they're energetic, they're lively, they're fun, they're always out and about. So it allows you to kind of be lost in them and their energy. But they're not actually the right partner for you. And you might know that, or you might not, but maybe you feel it. And so you waste your time. Again, I don't think any time is really wasted. Like you'll always learn something. But let's say you spend more time here than is meant for you. You're trying to make it work because you just like escaping. You like losing yourself in this person, forgetting yourself in this person. You spend more time in this dynamic than is meant for you. Because I do think any situation we're in, there's a certain amount of time that is allotted to us and it's meant for us. And then after that point, when you're trying to force it, it's not time. You're not there anymore. You have to go. You have to move. So maybe you're past that time for yourself, but you're trying to make it work. You're trying to force yourself to stay there because you want to forget yourself. You're using them as an escape. You're showing yourself that this is all you can get. You're conditioning yourself the longer you stay to believe that this is the kind of partner you need to make it work with. You're saying no to other more aligned opportunities because they're not allowing you, they don't give you the chance to forget yourself, right? Because they're real. They're pulling you into an actual relationship. So you say no to them, you stay here. So you're showing yourself, I don't deserve actual healthy relationships. I have to make this one work. This is all I get. So it's creating a lot of scarcity over time. And then you kind of feel stuck and paralyzed. And now you believe that this is all you can get. And all you can really do is continue to escape, to forget yourself, because you've created an environment now emotionally and externally where you're not actually getting a relationship you want. You're getting a relationship that you need to escape. And so that's all you get now. So now you have to stay there. And that's really sad. So now you're trying to escape from the reality that you've put yourself in this position. Again, not consciously necessarily, but you're feeling that internally. You do have that internal wisdom. It's understanding what's going on here. And then you are stuck in this cycle, this spiral of wanting to continuously forget yourself, to escape yourself with this person. But that person might not be for you. They might not be aligned with you, and that might not be able to give you what you actually need in a healthy way. It doesn't mean that person's bad. It doesn't mean that person is malicious or narcissistic or anything of the sort. Your ego might try to make you feel that way instead of accepting like, hey, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe it's not meant for me. Even though it would be nice, sure, in an ideal world, this person would turn around and be the perfect partner for me. But then again, that would take away the escapism. So it's not meant to happen. It can't happen. It would defeat the purpose at that point. So it's more about accepting that, hey, this person is not meant for me in a healthy way. So what do I really want here? What am I actually looking for? And you have to be really honest with yourself, radical honesty and saying, am I looking for something healthy, or am I just indulging in something unhealthy because I don't know how to handle the difficulties I'm having right now? And so I'm using this opportunity to escape myself. Again, that's not bad necessarily, right? Like, you don't want to hurt people, use people, but like, of course, life is hard, like we all use things to help us through it, right? Even social media addiction is a way to do that. It's not healthy necessarily to do it all the time, but sometimes it's okay. Like there's nuance to these, right? So I'm not trying to say like 100% that you shouldn't do this or it's bad or you're wrong. I'm just saying to really ask yourself, what do you want? What are you actually looking for? And what are you willing to sacrifice to be the kind of person and in the kind of relationship you want? That might mean letting go of the escapism and recognizing like, I'm using this person to forget myself, and I have to remember myself. I have to remember who I am, because the more you try to forget yourself, the more you abandon yourself, right? You're abandoning yourself by doing that. And you have to remember yourself. You have to bring yourself back into your mind and your awareness and say, okay, so if I'm going to remember myself, if I'm going to be there for myself, what does that look like when it comes to a relationship? Is this person the kind of person I would date if I am someone who is there for myself, who remembers myself, who remembers who I am and what I need? And if the answer is no to that, then that just might mean that this is what the dynamic has been for this whole time. And there's a lot of grief to recognizing that. Again, it's not right or wrong, good or bad. Like there's no black and white here. I'm just trying to give some perspective and some awareness on if this partner is aligned with you or not. And hopefully this has helped you understand that a bit more, dig into it a little bit more, acknowledge it, accept it. You might already have felt this a bit, but maybe this episode is enough to give you that little bit of extra kick to be honest with yourself and make the decision you need to make. You might choose to stay in this dynamic, and that's fine too. Like, do what you want. This is your life. You get to do whatever. But ultimately it's about understanding what you actually want in the grand scheme of things. So if you feel dissatisfied being in this dynamic, but you're staying there, is that good for you? Is that kind to you? Probably not. And so then why are you there? Why do you want to keep being unkind to yourself by being in this dynamic? Again, it doesn't mean that the other person's bad or wrong, or you're bad or wrong. This is life, and this happens in relationships. I want to emphasize that sometimes we use relationships as tools to help us navigate life when it's difficult. It might be a tool like any other tool. Like social media could be a tool to help you escape life, So just being mindful of that and understanding, okay, is this something I want to perpetuate? Is this something I want to continue doing? Or do I want something different? And why do I want something different? It's all about asking yourself the intention behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I hope this was helpful. I hope it was informative. I hope it gave you a different perspective. If you want to talk with me one-to-one about these things, feel free to book a call over on my website. If you want to read about these topics, I write over on Substack, on my newsletter, and follow me on TikTok and Instagram for my short form of content. Other than that, thank you for being here, and I'll be back again soon with another episode.